The ancient Egyptians are one of the most iconic and fascinating civilizations in history. The empire's rituals, artifacts, tombs, and traditions have captivated researchers, explorers, and anyone with even a passing interest in how human society formed. Ancient Egypt is perhaps most famous for the building of the pyramids, though, even if these structures are also steeped in mystery. This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question, why was the Great Pyramid of Giza really built? Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content. Perhaps more so than with any other structure on Earth, the Great Pyramid of Giza has legendary status. That fact was proved in the year 2000, when a poll was issued to determine the new 7 wonders of the world, a necessary step since most of the original 7 wonders had deteriorated or disappeared altogether over time. The new list eventually included entries ranging from the Great Wall of China to Machu Picchu in Peru, the Roman Colosseum, and the Chichen Itza in Mexico. These structures are globally recognized not only for their function and design, but also for the determination and effort that went into building them. Many of them rank among the largest construction projects in history. The Colosseum took 10 years of labor. The city of Chichen Itza may have taken up to 400 years to finish. And China's Great Wall was continually added on to for more than 2,000 years before becoming what it is today. And they're all still here today. But ultimately, no other place can hold a candle to the Great Pyramid in terms of outright longevity. The original 7 wonders of the world were determined centuries ago, and the pyramid is the only one that's still standing. The other 6 entries, including the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Temple of Artemis, and the Colossus of Rhodes, have all fallen victim to time and ruin. By contrast, the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2,500 years BCE, almost 4,600 years ago. In the time since, it has survived everything thrown at it, including various conflicts and continuous weathering by the elements, to become one of the longest-standing monuments of any kind ever created. Somewhat miraculously then, while it did also take a long time to build, it wasn't quite so lengthy a project as was needed for some of the other wonders, requiring around 20 years only of continuous work to finish. Upon completion, it stood as the tallest human-made structure in the world, and it remained so for an incredible 3,800 years thereafter. In terms of scale and impact, it was simply unmatchable. In terms of method and reason, it has continually been debated. Although there is only one Great Pyramid, the Pyramid of Khufu, there are others in the Giza complex that are similar to it but smaller, the pyramids of Khafre and Menkaure. Famously, over recent decades, there have been questions raised as to exactly how any of the pyramids were made, although almost all conventional theories now support the idea of there being a thousands-strong worker village nearby. It's thought that this village was then organized to extract, transport, and process enormous stones from a nearby quarry in the middle of the desert. Further analysis has been undertaken as to precisely how these stones were shaped for use, although some aspects of the build do remain somewhat unexplained. But today, we're more interested in the why of these things. Why were they built? And why did they come to be so important? In many ways, it's a simpler question to answer, as the Egyptians left detailed records of their beliefs and practices, as well as seeming justifications for their various massive pyramidic undertakings. Of course, the most widely accepted theory as to the pyramid's purpose is that they were tombs for the rich and powerful, and mainly for the pharaohs. There's no doubt that ideas on the afterlife informed so much of this civilization's wider collective thinking and culture, inspiring such projects as the Book of the Dead, an ancient text which contained enchantments and passages which readers were encouraged to perform around or write onto coffins to ensure a dead person was well preserved for what came next. It's well known that those attending to the dead would also embalm the body and remove certain organs to be placed in surrounding containers called canopic jars. The pyramids were deemed special enough places for these rituals to take place, and for them to take meaning. The Egyptian pharaohs were something like demigods of their time, divine in nature, with one belief being that upon death, a pharaoh would become the next god of death, Osiris. The pyramids were ultimately then seen as much more than just tombs. They were built to help the godlike pharaohs they housed navigate a safe journey into the afterlife. To some degree, they became a sort of bridge between here and there. The Great Pyramid of Giza, specifically, was constructed for the pharaoh Khufu and was filled with immense wealth, elaborate furniture, priceless offerings, and Khufu's own preserved body, all so that he too would be welcomed into the afterlife. The pharaoh's most precious valuables were arranged around him because it was thought that his belongings would also follow him to the new realm, a realm in the sky. And indeed, it's believed that the shape of the pyramids was favored with this in mind: 4 secure corners with flat sides that all end in a point at the top. The dimensions were meant to act as a path to heaven for the souls of the dead inside. To some degree, then, the taller the pyramid, the closer to heaven and greatness it took you. We know that the shape was significant thanks to written records detailing it. Ancient inscriptions onto stone that have since been compiled are today known as the pyramid texts. These inscriptions inform so much of what we know about beliefs on the afterlife, including instructions on how to get there. In fact, it's only largely thanks to records and clues like these that we know that the Great Pyramid was built specifically for Khufu, because, unfortunately, the tomb itself has seemingly been emptied over thousands of years by tomb raiders and grave robbers. Although there are also theories that the robbers never actually found the true burial room, but were hoodwinked by fake rooms instead. Nevertheless, conventional study is very sure that the pyramids were tombs first and foremost. Most historians and Egyptologists unite under this conclusion, although famously there have been other alternative explanations put forward as well. Perhaps one of the most unexpected comes from alt-theorist Matthew Sibson, who claims that the pyramids may actually have been built to be something like Noah's Ark, geometric vessels in which humanity and wildlife might shelter and hope to survive the Great Flood. This idea broadly rests from a debated translation of the Dead Sea Scrolls regarding the specifics of the Ark, through which Sibson argues that the boat could be described as pyramid. There have been further attempts made to put a biblical spin on the pyramids too, including notoriously by the U.S. politician Ben Carson, who argued that the Great Pyramid may have been built by Joseph to store grain. Back in the 6th century BCE, the historian Gregory of Tours had argued a similar case, suggesting that the pointed top of the pyramid may have been where the grain was poured in. Significantly, though, in Gregory of Tours' day, it was assumed that the pyramids were hollow, while in the modern world we know that they're not. Elsewhere, the ancient alien claims are infamous and suitably controversial. While versions vary, the general gist is that believers claim that ancient Egypt just can't have had the technology, engineering, or know-how to pull off such massive structures as the pyramids. So they must have had help. Help, apparently, from aliens. Conventional analysis highlights a number of concerns with these ideas, not least an apparent underlying prejudice by the predominantly Western voices that preach them. But still, the implications have invariably added to the pyramid myth over the years. Suggestions as to why an alien might have built the Great Pyramid or any pyramid range from it being designed as a storehouse for advanced tech and weaponry to serving as a beacon or transmitter in an ET communications system. Some believe there is evidence of an alien connection to be found in many a pyramid's positioning on Earth. The coordinates for the Great Pyramid of Giza, for example, are found to be somewhat close to the value for the speed of light, which some speculate perhaps isn't a coincidence. Maybe it's little surprise that there should be so many alternative theories regarding the pyramid's construction and purpose. It's certainly true that there's nothing else like them out there. These structures have proved more durable than almost anything else in the world, and the Great Pyramid stands as the biggest, best, and most complete example. Theories, ideas, and stories linking them to otherworldly origins aren't likely to disappear, even if the conventional mainstream line continually pulls up evidence that they were tombs. But even then, these things were truly more than tombs. They offered a deep connection between the Egyptian people and their pharaoh, and between the pharaoh and the afterlife. And that's why the Great Pyramid of Giza was really built. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.